Hello and welcome to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. My view of humanity is a whole new tea. Okay, well, I I'm hearing a lot of bad things from so many different perspectives about the Snow White movie, which I plan to see. And I plan to see because I'm a feminist. I am Fox News tries to, and all the Republicans try to say woke as a negative thing. Being woke and aware and knowing the hypocrisy, the bigotry, the racism, and the sexism, and all of how, especially our political system now, is trying to make sure Black people are not a part of the higher up in society or given a fair chance within certain brackets. How people with disabilities, they just want to get rid of fully. How with even women. So basically, everything or everyone included in my title, everyone who connects in my title, our country doesn't want us. They don't like us. And I don't know what it's going to take for them to realize that, because especially there are still some like African American MAGA guys who, well, it's probably women too, but I'm so thankful I don't see them, or I don't run into, like, I'm at the point when I see them on YouTube as a recommend, I was like, nope. I was like, no, there's no way. But a lot of people are being so negative within the movie, not seeing how since 1935, things have changed. They're trying to back it up, which is maybe one reason why people are hating this movie so much. Because while we have moved ahead, some people don't like the the movement. They don't like the progress, or for some of them, it's not even progress. Because if you look at Alpha Men, Red Pill, Passport Bros, they are going to other countries even to find women who are more similar to the 1935. Because back then, with men, when they were born and stuff, they got to grow up and like figure out what do they want to do with their life, and like do different things and adventure and stuff like that. When women are, a lot of our toys are, let's pretend I'm cooking. Let's pretend I'm taking care of a baby. Let's pretend I'm a mommy and a proper housewife. And then as a woman gets older, because that still happens today, which is why I think so many people hate this movie. But while growing up, even in today's age, for women, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? If you don't have babies quick enough, oh, my family members, oh, she must be a lesbian. Even though they like, and if you have been listening to my videos, yeah, it's like my parents didn't know about majority of the men that I went out with, dated, or whatever, because yeah, for different reasons. For some, yeah, my like you already know what my mom used to always say: as long as you walk like that, no one's ever gonna want you, love you, or marry you. So yeah, if you've already been listening to my over 300 episodes, you already know that by heart now. And there's different variations, but that one hit hard, or she said that one I think the most, which is why I remember it. But while dating and while growing up, and especially getting my education, these so-called Prince Charmings, because that's what they still expect us to do as women. They expect us. And oh, yeah, I'm petty. You're going to be looking at and seeing some of these real life, today's age Prince Charmings. Ha ha ha. They're more like the Gastons in The Beauty and the Beast, but that's a different story. Or, yeah, they're more the villains, but anyway. It's like all of these are real life. All of these I have gotten. Sometimes I share screenshots from Facebook and stuff from discussions and talks that are generally just racist, bigoted, awful, sexist, stupid, idiotic, poorly educated, and MAGA Republican and stuff like that. I show that ignorance. I show that just stupidity. But yeah, most of these majority, and I mean like 95% of all of the male screenshots that you see are from dating apps. These are real life. Like, so while you watch my episodes and you see these are all to me, all of them. And this all started, and I'm going to talk about it or mention it in a little bit later, but like men hate my standards because I was like, after I broke up with a 7-year ex, which he was absolutely no Prince Charming. He never tried to say, like, he literally tried to leave me hanging on in like the clips or the scenes where the princess would need your help. Like, the like, oh, watch my Sweetest Day episode that I did in October. My car was overheating after he broke my car. He broke my car. I had to go and get it fixed. And then the shop screwed up, messed up. But like, did he, like, after he broke it, didn't put a dime in it. And it's like he's screaming. He had a mantra all around the house. Oh my gosh, I can't, like, all the stupid stuff. But then I went and got it fixed, and I thought, okay, he's gonna at least give me a few $100s because it was thousands of dollars that, like, but yeah, did he help me? Not 1 cent. And then with, like, so that's one reason why, yeah, you're gonna, like, one of my standards, I'm just gonna say, one of my standards is you must have some kind of investment, savings account, something. Because I kept and keep running into severely, very broke men. And I'm not going to say, like, I'm not rich. At like, I have, like, I've had such a rocky, like, system in life over the last several years because doctors screwed up with telling me that the pain was in my head with my disability, with my walking disability and everything. So in some ways I am starting over, but at the same time, I'm not broke. I'm not broke as a joke, as in a lot of the men that you're going to be seeing in my video. And a lot of these men who I say I would like or prefer a man that has higher education. But a lot of these men want to say I'm stuck up or snotty or whatever. It has nothing to do with being stuck up and snotty. When one after another, after it repeatedly so many times, countless times, men tell me that I had no business getting a college degree, that I should have just been focusing on having babies, that I should have just been focusing on making sure I'm able to do their laundry and cook for them. Do you know how many times I have run into that? Do you? And you have to remember, since I walk differently, like, only certain guys, I had to realize only certain guys would want to go out with me, but a lot of those guys, they they saw my walking as like a weakness for me, but power for them, because they knew that, like, most women are all, like, all women, they try to find that Prince Charming. They try to find a man, even if they have to keep trying to lower their standards. But now that these men are reading my standards and they see I'm not lowering my standards, they hate it. And I don't like, because Mr. No Heart dropped out of college. Mr. Lockakey, high school dropout, but you have to remember he blackmailed me. And that's okay. You know, I can have a whole episode about the Prince Charming Snow White thing, all about Mr. Lockakey, all about that fool, all about that complete stupid idiot. Because some of these men will try to trap you into a relationship, trap you into suffering with them, trap you into just an unhappily ever after. And they're going to use you and they're just going to love to hate you. They tell you they love you, but they only love using you and hating you. They only love making sure that every day you are to of use of them. That's it. That's it. And that's one reason why I created my standards, because after breaking up with Mr. No Heart, I I realized how dumb I was to tolerate his like. And then also gonna I need to do a series on the separation of women and man when it comes to breaking up, because like he didn't realize that for years I was getting ready to break up with him. I was scared, I was nervous, and I knew my walking was getting worse, so I was trying to get to a point where I'm like, okay, no one's probably going to ever want me, but I'd rather love myself, want myself, than to have to deal with a man that is literally making my life worse every single day. And are you reading the screenshots? Are you reading the evidence that because yeah, every single one of these are real. And it's like when men are calling me or comparing me with Jim Crow, when they're calling, like one of them, he wrote me he wrote me 5 times, but it's really funny how this dating app, I think, like if they red flag something or they want to make sure I can't read it or I can't get to it, or these men are so scared of and okay, these men think they're Prince Charmings, and they think they're men and alpha men and red pill men or whatever they want to call themselves. But if they were really man, if they were really a manly man, if they were a true man, after they write a woman, they would be able to sit and wait for her response. If they could handle it, but their emotions, it's like, oh, they want to hurt a woman, but a woman cannot hurt them. One after another. Like so many of these men, they I can't even guess how many. After they write me, they block me immediately. So sometimes I can't even get to the full message. Kind of like that Neil Leonson guy. Yeah, I couldn't read all of his messages because he blocked me right after. And part of me is just like, don't you at least want me to read all the hate? Don't you at least want me to read all of the awful messages you wrote me? Don't you? Don't you? And then it's like some men who, like, they tell me politics have nothing to do with dating. Politics have nothing to do with relationships and marriage or whatever. But then it's like when it comes to women's rights, when it comes to reproduction, it's like if a woman gets pregnant and then her life's in danger, that's political now. Because if the woman is pro choice and the man is pro life, that's going to start some arguments. That's going to start some fights. Even with what's going on with like the Tesla cars or whatever. If the guy bought one years ago, whatever, I mean, that like driving that around in public, it's like, cause I mean, oh, I will never, but if I did date or marry a guy with a Tesla, whatever, and he came up into the driveway, I'm not going in public with that. Actually, I don't even want that in the driveway. No, nope. Either we get in my car and you give like, no, not today, not today, Satan, not today. But I don't know. It's just like so many things that it's just funny how men keep writing me, keep telling me how politics have nothing to do with relationships. But then at the same time, in the same message, they write me on how I'm stupid for being vaccinated. And that's like, now you can see that's like, these are what I require. Because while dating, it's like, especially Republican men and the orange loving men, it's like trying to talk to them, especially even volunteering. When I say I love volunteering, do you know how many Republican men say that's a waste of time? It's stupid of me to do that. And but then they go to church and they're Christian, and some of them even spend time like volunteering their time within the church and community. And I'm just like, okay, so I can't volunteer with the homeless or special needs or women in shelters and stuff, but you can go and volunteer at the. But what I do is stupid. And then even like, there's so many things. It's like back, like even with the environment and stuff like that. And there's like within relationships, men tell me, once you're with me, you won't work. You're not going to work. You're going to stay home because I want a hot dinner once I get home. And I remember one, he was just like, I will call you when I'm an hour away to make sure once I step into the door, you're able to just take it right out of the oven. Yeah. And there are so many, like, well, there's so many stupid people out there, but it's like, since so many of the Republican men or MAGA men troll and write me, or especially when they see that I will not date them whatsoever, they call me racist. These stupid idiots call me racist. Republican is not a race. They're trying to create it to be one, and a lot of the hate groups are in them. And right now, a lot of the Republicans are cheering on that they're trying to bring back segregation and outlawing Black and people of color from the logs of our history books and everything like that. But yeah, they say they're not racist. And then they were against Black Lives Matter, and some people were like, "Yo, yeah, blah blah blah, all lives matter." But do you see the point now of Black Lives Matter? And some people were like, what does all this have to do? Back then in 1935, I would not have been able to have my standards. I would not have been able to choose for myself. I would have had to be I probably would have been in a small town, segregated town, and my parents were in the church, so I would have had to marry some like church guy who would tell me what to do, when to do it, and I wouldn't be able to start my business and my job, and I would not have been able to be a adjunct professor. I would not have been able to work half the jobs that I love to do. I would not been able to find my own purpose. And with this new Snow White, I love that her only obstacle or the plot of the movie is not her trying to get to Prince Charming, her getting Prince Charming. Because there's so much more to life than a man, than a, like, especially there's no Prince Charmings out here. Except for, I mean, for the literal ones, but they even got some drama. They're not even the back of the day Disney Prince Charming, so let's not play and pretend. But it's just to the point where, and if you haven't read these, like, don't worry, all of these are on my Patreon, and I put a lot of them in different, like, I reuse them and stuff, and I still have over 300 screenshots that you have, like, it takes like trying to upload everything, but okay, I'm going to get back to it because I know I'm going to need a part 2. But yeah, you do not know how many of these messages I get, and it's like, if you're not able to read them, don't worry. Like, well, I'm gonna start back with my dating nightmares, and I'm gonna be reading each one by one and stuff like that. So, and I think I have about 10, 12 dating nightmare episodes where I do read each one separately. But when I do full on topics like this, I just show these for evidence, and I show them to prove my point, kind of like a lawyer. I used to want to be a lawyer, so, I try to prove my case. And I will admit, yeah, my standards are high, but just like with Snow White, She deserves better. She deserves greatness. And she is more than just her beauty. And for someone to be jealous of her and want to eliminate her because of her beauty, oh, it's like, yeah, if you read the message from Chris, oh yeah, it's like, oh, go to my one of my very, very extremely first videos. I'm gonna redo it, and it's like some haters or whatever, they put it to the 18, and like I learned my lesson. I'll redo it because yeah, Chris, yeah, he threatened my life twice, or he told me to eliminate myself twice. Yeah, but it's like, to me, I'm like, these are real. It's like, and then I hear other videos and people talk about, oh, this part, like, and I'm just like, I don't like what. So, anyways, go watch that video because he's a real life, and he hated me and wanted me to eliminate myself from the earth because I would not sleep with him. And oh my gosh, there's so many other like, because there's a army guy from the same dating app. He told me I was wasting my life. And a lot of men, like, or him, but the army guy specifically, he told me I was wasting my life because I wasn't sleeping with men. Because I'm not with a man, and since I'm an older woman, I am wasting my life because I'm without a man. Yeah. And so many men out there, that's how they think. They think women's only purpose is to be with a man. But then a lot of men think that them being with a woman still allows them to cheat. But then they think if a woman cheats, it's different. Might be different reasons, but it's all the same. And then especially some of these men are so-called Christians, but they say that, but in the like, yeah. So it's like, so part of me is just like, stop contradicting yourself. If you're gonna speak, if you're gonna drive in the Christian lane, stay in your lane, because a lot of them are swerving and driving and getting off the wrong exits and everything. It's messy. It's really, really messy. But with this new Snow White, she I love, and I'm going to be watching it because I love how Disney is giving her the freedom to find herself, to know herself. And when I was younger, I was told or brought up to, like, you're gonna get married, but then with my walking, you're not good enough to be married. No one's ever gonna love you, want you. And with my I'm stubborn and bullheaded, but I use that against me because since I was told no one was ever gonna want me or love me, I was determined. And I kept running into just terrible men like Tomas. It's like I've told that story so many times, but he was my boyfriend for a short time. And the reason why he ghosted me, broke up with me, and as a woke princess, I had to go to him. Yeah, the princess going to the prince. Yeah, I'm petty. I'm a petty princess. But anyway, he decided to end our relationship because I published another children's book. And he told me that he could not handle or be around a woman like myself, and that I was too good of a woman, or I was too much of a woman for him. And so when I turned it around, I'm like, oh, so that means you're not man enough for me. You're not a good enough man for me. Oh, he did not like that. Yeah, that's that alpha male. No, that's not what I mean. Well, I was like, no, no. If you can't, like, it's kind of like math. I'm not great at math, but if you're trying to say I'm too good, I'm too great, I'm too this and that, whatever, that means like you got to flip it. It's like two plus two still needs to equal four. And so, yeah, he didn't like that. So he was trying to reword it and reprogram it and all this other stuff, whatever. But, but I mean, yeah, but I was just like, you know what? Fine. You want to break up? What I like. And if it's because of me writing my book, finding my passion, loving, like, and the thing is, I knew I wanted to be an author since I was a little girl. And while dating, and to like, because one of the other men, or one of the other screenshots in here, that it's like one of those jerks was like, I know someone you know, and they say you're crazy. Yeah, and that guy called me. He's like, he called me and told me because this guy kept breaking me up to him. It's like, if you're trolling me and if you keep saying I'm stupid for voting for Biden, if you keep saying I'm a moron for being Democrat, if you keep saying that you can't wait for some, like the president to die in prison and all this other stuff, it's like, one, you're disturbing and disgusting and awful and terrible and poorly educated and ignorant and arrogant. And it's like the list goes on because all of his political thoughts came from rappers. And then, ironically, some of those rappers performed in front of the Orange Man recently. But yeah, I'm going to drop that. But it's just crazy how, with the princesses and the expectation of women now, men want that old school princess where our only adventure, our only conquest, our only like plot in our storyline is to find a man, to find a prince. That's the only plot they want us to deserve. I am a new school Snow White. I'm a new school Ariel. I refuse for that to be my only plot. I want my own story. I want my own adventures. I want my own purpose. And in Snow White's storyline, she has her own purpose, something separate from a man. But so many people are hating that. It's like, yeah, it's like she did put down the old school a little bit. And me being brought up in the church, being brought up old school and stuff, I understand. And it's like, especially nowadays, with how a lot of men, there's it's like they're upset that women are exceeding and finding their own lives, and they don't want that. They want they want women's lives to be all about them. They want us to cater for them while they go and get to be have their own adventures. Most of their adventures are usually them sitting in their video game chairs playing games and not saving any money, but wasting all of their money. And or yeah, it's like I can be really petty right now with that, but yeah, it's like, and some of them are businessmen, some of them do make money, but then with some of these men out here, they want us to only cater for them until they can find a new princess. See, this is not back in the day when happily ever after. Some of these Prince Charmings, they'll be your Prince Charming for a little while. They'll buy your nails and hair and all this other stuff until they find a new princess, a younger princess, especially a princess that will follow their orders, do as their commands, and then their bodies aren't broken, or maybe, okay, wrong word. It's like, well, because some men are like, I've heard so many men say, oh, you're not broken from the babies. You're not broken. Like, so it's like your body has not had to, or they're looking for a new princess whose body has not had to go through the process of having or carrying a baby. Not broken. So, like, I mean, it's so sad how that came out of my mouth, but yeah, that's how many times I've heard it from men. And so that's why some men, that's the only reason they want to date me, is because in their terms, my body has not been broken and I don't have baby daddies or other Prince Charmings that they have to pay attention to or tolerate or listen to. They'll have other princesses, but yeah, it's really crazy how that works too. Thank you so much for listening to the Handicapable Black Woman Throne Room. I am a woman, I am of color, and I am handicapable. But most importantly, I am human, and you're human too. And if you can drop a little apple or a pie emoji or whatever, so I know you listened to the whole thing. But take care, and let me know if you're going to see the movie, and if not, why? Because there's a long list of reasons.